This is Jason with Chicago News. It's not every year that a brand new version of America's most popular car comes out, but we've got the brand new 2018 Toyota Camry here. The design is all new, and you can see that this no longer looks like the evolution of the boring Camry. We've got a really aggressive front fascia here. They've really kept Camry lines through the top of the grille here, but then gone with Toyota's new design elsewhere. The new design is really excellent around the side and the back. You've got a much more aggressive belt line through the middle. You've got this arch out here, which kind of gives the car a better stance. And it's a much more swooping roof line. So overall, this has more of like fastback feel to it. While this is still definitely recognizable as a Camry, somebody even spotted the brand new version at a gas station this morning and asked me about it. It no longer looks boring though. Let's hop inside and see if it's more exciting to drive as well. So we've seen that the outside of this Camry is all new. The interior is as well. Everything's been changed in here. It's kind of a clean slate. You've got a really interesting design. There's a sort of a T to the center of the dash here. I have to say it's a little gimmicky looking. There's kind of a frameless screen and some weird angles here. It doesn't all necessarily flow very well. It's definitely unique. It's definitely expressive. It's better than the boring center stack that used to be here. What it also does is exposes a wireless charging port, which is really convenient for your phone right over here. So there's definitely some function to this form. Both available engines have been tweaked for the new model as well. Four-cylinder has higher compression, some other advances that give it a little bit more power, a little better efficiency, and this 3.5 liter V6 that we have here in the test car has been bumped from 268 horsepower to 301 horsepower. Now, 300 horsepower in a front-wheel drive car, it's kind of a big deal. It actually, with the traction and everything turned off, it'll just spin the tires, especially in the low gears. This is actually a really quick Camry. Check it out. I mean, this thing goes. With this powerful of an engine, it kind of lifts the Camry from being, you know, the boring family sedan to being actually a really fun, sporty sedan. With front-wheel drive only, though, you know, there's really a limit to the sporting intentions you can have with this car. It handles fantastic. It's very light, direct steering. Actually, I've noticed that pretty much all of the controls, the shifter, everything that you interact with has a really low effort feel to it. They've really tuned this car to be, you know, easy to drive, and it actually, this XSE Sport that we're driving has amazing handling as well. Obviously you can't drive blindfolded, but if you could, you wouldn't know that you were driving a Camry. Beyond just having a charge port and a bunch of power outlets, interconnectivity here, there's also a lot of safety features, active safety features here. You've got collision alert, automatic braking, and you've got lane departure, both warning and steering assist. The thing I've noticed is the steering assist is very rudimentary in this. It waits till you're almost all the way across the center line to bring it back, and then it does the same the other way. It's not really, you know, some of the other systems we've driven are almost like an autonomous driving system. This is definitely not. It's more of a precautionary system. The automatic braking is really intense when it happens. It really jams on the brakes. Again, you know, you'd only want to use that. It's not something you use every day. Again, these are more true active safety features as opposed to being autonomous or active driving features. One thing I have noticed is the parking alerts. When you get into a spot, like we'll pull into this spot right here, and as soon as you pull up to a car in front of you, this thing starts beeping. It's a really aggressive beep tone, and you know, it starts beeping really early. You have also this 360 view camera, so the thing's beeping at you and you see the car in front of you, but the camera isn't necessarily tuned correctly because we backed right into a car the first time I tried to park it. So there's some inconsistencies in the systems as far as the parking alerts. The camera, I've also noticed, comes on every time you stop at a light, the 360 view cam and the front cam, which can be a little distracting to have all of that. You know, it's a little bit nice, you can see what's around you in traffic, but last time I checked, you could see what's around you in traffic this way too. The rear cross traffic alert and pedestrian alert when you're backing up is very handy. especially if you're in a parking spot where you can't really see very well. The rear view camera is a very wide angle, so you can see, you know, cars coming from the other direction, and it also will warn you if there's something coming. So those are some really handy safety features. We've talked about this before. This center display here, there's lots of information. You can cycle through different menus, and it's a really handy center screen here, center LCD. One thing I've noticed about Toyotas and, you know, Japanese cars in general, there's all these different indicator lights for all the safety systems, and, you know, again, I don't know that you need a reminder that they're on. You know, it'd be better to have a reminder if they were off. So if you have all of these on, you know, you don't necessarily want to be reminded of it. Right now it says blind spot monitor, rear cross traffic alert, parking alert, and then if you turn the lane assist on, it gives you a bunch of notifications for that, and it makes the display look a bit cluttered, which is a shame because, like I said, the actual LCD is a nice clean display, so not necessarily a reason to have all these little indicator lights. Another quirk we find on most Japanese cars is the heated seat switches are here in the center, and again, it would kind of make a little bit more sense to have them up here on the center stack, you know, where it's a little bit more natural for your hand to reach than to kind of reach back here and turn them on. But it's a nice cold day in Chicago, so it's nice to have these heated seats. As far as the design of the interior, we talked about that a little bit, but the materials themselves are pretty good. You've got soft touch materials pretty much everywhere. There's no place in this interior where you've got a thin, chintzy little piece of plastic. Another great feature we've got on our test car here is this big panoramic roof. Basically the entire roof is glass. This giant front section opens up, but it really is open and airy in here. You get a lot of light coming in from this. It's tinted quite nicely, and obviously there's a shade when you don't want it. So this is a really cool feature, something you don't see on every sedan these days. I have to admit to not being the biggest fan of the Camry through the years. Obviously it's extremely popular. It's their best-selling sedan. It's one of the best-selling cars in America, period. The car was never really that exciting. It wasn't anything that you wanted to drive. It was more, you know what, this is a great car, it's reliable. There wasn't a lot of excitement there, but this newest Camry actually has a different feel to it. This is fun to drive. This is something that you might actually want to own as opposed to just needing to get it. As far as the entertainment system goes, it's really easy to use. You've got a ton of available apps. There's great connectivity. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto are available. Wi-Fi hotspot as well. And this has the JBL, you know, premium audio system in it. It actually is a really great sounding stereo. Is this the best system on the market? Not really, but with this much functionality, easy to use features, it definitely ranks up there. An all-new Camry is definitely a significant thing in the car industry. This is a car that everybody looks at, and this is a huge improvement. They've really stepped this up and made it not just an appliance. This is a car that you might want to own and drive as opposed to have to own and drive. Along with a lot of the other improvements, increases in power and that sort of thing, the price has gone up a bit as well. This test car tops out around $37,000. That's quite a lot of money for a front-wheel drive sports sedan, but there might just be enough content to make it worth it.